Hey there, welcome. Thanks for joining me here on this beautiful spring morning. I'm really excited to be back here making these videos, talking to no one. I enjoy coming to these places and having an excuse to come and hang out for a little while. I'm also looking forward to finally being able to put my experience into words. This strange state of somewhat non-duality that I'm existing in now. If you're not familiar with what non-duality is, I'd suggest checking out a short YouTube video. The information's kind of like a rabbit hole, so I wouldn't suggest going any deeper unless you become fascinated by it, but you'll hear a lot about the ideas and teachings of non-duality, but I didn't want to get into any of that because, well, there's so much that's been said about it already, and I don't know there's any value in having any more perspectives or opinions on it. So I'd rather just share my actual experience of what it's like being this way. But I should give it some sort of parameters just so you know what I'm trying to describe. And so for me, well, duality is our default state of being, how we experience the world, how we think about it, how we feel about it, everything we believe. And non-duality is simply a different state of understanding, not better or worse, like some people like to feel. Ironically, the idea that non-duality is better than duality would be a dual belief, so therefore not non-duality at all. So another way to put it is, if duality is a state where everything we experience has value and meaning to us, non-duality is a state where everything has the same value and meaning, making everything that happens, everything you experience, equally meaningful, but conversely equally meaningless. It's different than duality in that there's no comparison or judgment. There's no good or bad because you have to judge and compare something to something else to decide whether it's good or bad. In non-duality, there's nothing to compare and nothing to judge because everything is equally valid. You'll find the ideas of non-duality in pretty much every religious and spiritual practice, not just the Eastern ones like Zen and Buddhism, but in Western religion, in the philosophies of the great Greek philosophers, in the art, the poetry and writings of the people of those times and that came after them. It's also being recently rediscovered and explored in the field of quantum physics. Now, it's also the core of what people describe as spiritual enlightenment, spiritual awakening. And for me, again, that's sort of a dualistic concept. And with it, thinking of it as a spiritual belief comes with potential problems and consequences, because a lot of people who have discovered a bit of non-duality have gone on to start cults or multi-level marketing schemes like Landmark or Amway. It's a very liberating state to experience, but it's also a very dangerous one to explore as a belief system. Non-duality is actually the absence of belief and it begins with letting go of identity. When you let go of identity, well, that can put you in a very unstable and vulnerable place. It can be hard to navigate, and if you have somebody whose best interest is to manipulate you, it can be, a very dangerous thing. I think most people who are seeking spiritual enlightenment are doing so without really understanding everything they'd be giving up if they achieved it. Most seekers seem to crave peace and balance that comes with it. They search for an end of suffering, but they also want to be there when it happens, with their ego and their desires intact, their passions. Unfortunately, once you actually get there, once you actually see this other state of perceiving reality, there's no one unseeing it. It's like learning a magic trick, or trying to watch a movie or play a video game while also seeing all the technical code that goes behind it.